We've all been there, right? Staring down one of those massive, life-altering decisions. Do I take the job? Do I buy the house? Is it time to end the relationship? The stakes feel sky high, and honestly, most of us are just winging it, hoping for the best. Well, today, that changes. We are going to dive into a really powerful framework to help you make better decisions with way, way fewer regrets. So here's our roadmap for today. First, we're going to uncover a pretty startling truth, that we often plan our own biggest regrets without even realizing it. Then, we're going to turn the focus inward, talking about radical self-honesty and the story you're writing with your life. After that, we'll look outward and learn how to find real wisdom in that feeling of tension. Then we'll consider our impact on others. And finally, we'll pull it all together into a simple toolkit you can start using like tomorrow. Okay, first up, why on earth we would ever plan our regrets? I know, it sounds absolutely crazy, right? But the truth is, these big decisions can be so overwhelming that we fall into these hidden traps that, well, we set for ourselves. Let's just think about Sarah for a second. She gets this incredible dream job offer. We're talking double the pay, a massive title. I mean, wow. But here's the catch. It's 2,000 miles away from her aging parents who are really starting to need her. What do? There's just no easy, clean answer here. Or what about Marcus? An unexpected inheritance just lands in his lap. It's enough to completely wipe out his student loans or put a down payment on the house he's always wanted. But he can't have both. So what is it? Complete debt freedom or the key to his own front door? Now here's the big twist in all of this. Our most painful regrets, they usually don't come from some wild, spontaneous mistake. As Andy Stanley puts it, they are often carefully planned disasters. You know, that business that failed? It started with a perfectly logical spreadsheet. That crushing debt? It was built one totally justifiable purchase at a time. We literally plan our way into regret. And this right here, this is the roadmap to that disaster. It starts with just one seemingly harmless choice. Then our brain swoops in with a perfectly logical justification. Next thing you know, you're taking another small step. And then, boom, you're at a destination you never, ever intended to reach. Here's the red flag you have to watch for. If you find yourself working really hard to justify a choice, that's your rational brain trying to shout down your intuition. You have to listen to that feeling. So, how do we get off this path to regret? Well, the solution starts by looking in the mirror. And the very first step is all about radical, sometimes uncomfortable, self-honesty. And this brings us to question number 1, and honestly, it's the foundation for this entire framework. Am I being honest with myself? See, the most destructive lies aren't the ones we tell other people. They're the convenient little stories we tell ourselves. It's driven by something called confirmation bias, where we actively hunt for any piece of evidence that confirms what we secretly already want to do. Making good decisions starts right here, by breaking that cycle. Come on, we've all done this. We call that expensive new gadget a good investment. We tell ourselves that really bad relationship will eventually get better. But the uncomfortable truth is usually much simpler, like you see here. Our heart just wants something, and our brain's job is to cook up the reasons. The way to stop this is to literally ask yourself out loud, am I being honest? And then pay really close attention to that little squirmy, awkward feeling in your gut. That's where the truth is hiding. Now, this second question, this one reframes everything. It shifts your focus from the immediate feeling, the immediate win or loss, to the actual story you are creating for your life. Think about it this way. Every major choice you make becomes a permanent chapter in your life story. So when you're at a crossroads, ask yourself this. 10 years from now, what story will this decision allow me to tell? This question forces you to see past the short-term feelings, the excitement, the fear, and to really consider the long-term narrative you are writing. The goal is to create a story you won't have to constantly edit or make excuses for later on. Okay, so we've looked inward. Now it's time to look outward and forward to get some much-needed perspective. These next 2 questions are designed to help us see our choices from totally new angles. Have you ever had that knot in your stomach just before you make a big move? That unease that you can't quite put your finger on? This question demands that you stop and listen to that feeling. Don't ignore it. It's not noise, it's data. That feeling of tension, it's basically your subconscious mind's early warning system. While your conscious brain is busy making pro-con lists, your intuition is already spotting potential icebergs that your rational mind hasn't caught yet. The goal here isn't to get paralyzed by that feeling, but to get curious about it. Ask it, hey, what are you trying to tell me? You have to lean into that tension instead of trying to shove it away. All right, our fourth question really raises the bar. We're not asking what's allowed anymore. We're not asking what we can get away with. We're asking a much better, much bigger question. What is the wise thing to do? So many of us live our lives in that permissible lane on the left. It's all about, is this technically wrong? Can I get away with it? It's like driving as fast as you possibly can without getting a speeding ticket. But wisdom, over on the right, asks a completely different set of questions. Does this decision align with my long-term goals? And maybe most importantly, does it take into account my own personal weaknesses? A choice that might be perfectly fine for someone else could be a total trap for you. Wisdom is knowing that difference. So we've looked in and we've looked forward. Now, for our final question, we turn our focus completely outward to the people that our decisions will inevitably impact. This is where we move beyond just asking, what's best for me? This might be the most powerful question of them all. Your teenager slams their door, your coworker messes up a big project. Your first instinct might be to ask, what's fair here? Or what do they deserve? This question challenges you to aim higher, to ask something much better. In this moment, what does love require of me? And let's be clear, as you can see here, love isn't some fuzzy feeling, it's an action verb. It's patience when all you want to do is rush. It's kindness when someone is clearly struggling. It means celebrating other people's wins, being selfless and forgiving freely. When what does love require becomes the filter for your decisions, you'll find that all the little excuses for selfish behavior, they just kind of evaporate. All right, we have covered 5 incredibly powerful questions. So now let's bring it all home and lock this in. This is the complete toolkit for your next big decision. Here it is, your 5-question decision-making toolkit. Number 1, the honesty question. Am I being truly honest with myself? 2, the story question. What story do I want this to create? 3, the tension question. Is there a tension here that deserves my attention? 4, the wisdom question. What is the wise thing for me to do? And finally, 5, the love question. What does love require of me? Look, where you are today is basically the sum of all your past choices. And I know that can be a tough pill to swallow, but it's also an incredibly hopeful idea. Because it means your future choices can take you somewhere new, somewhere better. You have that power. The secret isn't in having all the answers. It's in learning to ask better questions. At the end of the day, you're the author of your own life. These 5 questions, they're like the pen in your hand. So as you face your next big decision, remember that. The story is yours. What are you going to write next?